It sound right, boy.
What's going on, guys? How are you doing? Welcome back to Four Fight Fans. This is the show for the fans, by the fans, and I'm joined as always with Masood, Master Masood, our voice of reason and wisdom on this show, MJ, our Twitter correspondent, and Sam, our very own version of the bad guy, and Mystic Sam.
Today is a special. Yeah.
Not so much this week.
I'm Money, and thank you so much for tuning in. This week we have a very special show for you. It's the review of UFC 257, Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, and it was one of the cards to be seen, to behold, basically throughout history. And we're going to get into all of that card. We're going to talk about some of the other fights that have been announced for the coming months that are coming up: UFC 258, UFC 259, and UFC 260. Some of the cards have been pretty much announced. And before we get into all that, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. Make sure you get into the comment section. Let us know what you think of the videos. And don't forget to like as well, please. Thank you so much.
All the good stuff.
All right, guys. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into the main event. Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, the much anticipated return of Conor McGregor to the octagon. And what can I say? Things did not turn out the way most people thought it would. I myself included, and many others around the world thought that this fight would definitely go another way. But Dustin Poirier puts on an immaculate performance, comes out and really shows how he has developed over the years, how he has become such an elite fighter in the lightweight division. And he took Conor to school in many ways, in terms of in MMA senses and in sporting senses. And it was something of a shocker to many people, but at the same time, for a lot of people who are more familiar with the sport, who have seen the sport, for many years, it was a moment of a little bit of sadness, but at the same time, also understanding of just how good Dustin and Poirier is. And maybe we didn't want to accept it as much, or we didn't give enough shine to it, or we didn't give enough attention to it. But that performance and that fight basically just cemented it all, that that little doubt inside all of our heads was right. And Dustin Poirier comes out with a fantastic performance. And Conor McGregor, even though it was very different this time around in terms of the lead up to it, he had a good fight. He had his moments, but there was a strategy that unfolded that Dustin basically took advantage of, and it ended the fight that way. So let's get right into the strategy. Masood, what did you think of Dustin's basically performance, how he came into the fight, and what he brought?
And that was an incredible performance. That was just really Dustin really showed what he's made of in this fight. Many people, including me, thought he's gonna get clipped again like last fight and just sleep on the canvas. But years of being active and going to wars against Gaethje, against Dan Hooker, against Max Holloway, fighting against Khabib, just gaining experience, staying active. And most of these fights, all of these fights were standing and exchanges, striking exchanges. He just improved so much. And he came in, and really from the beginning he got it on. And man, that was spectacular. Second round, I mean, from the beginning he started throwing those calf kicks, which are pretty new in MMA. The past few years, you look, how many fighters have been using it and they've been successful throwing those calf kicks, and and Conor was eating them. He was not checking them. DC kept saying Conor needs to check those kicks, but he was just eating them. He was, standing hard on him and just on his leg and eating the calf kicks, and it just took a toll on him, man. At some point, like right before the finish, like you can see Conor threw one last combo and he was off. He was like, he had no footwork. You don't have footwork. You can't, you don't have footwork in MMA and boxing. You can't strike. And man, that was incredible. That was just kudos to Dustin. You gotta give him credit. Like you can't take anything away from him. You can't make justifications for why Conor lost. Yes, he was inactive, but you gotta give credit to Dustin Poirier. Amazing performance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just before I start praising Dustin, just going back to those calf kicks you mentioned, especially someone like Conor, who relies so much on movement, distance control. He needs his legs, right? And as he said it after the fight, it's like my leg was
Conor.
dead,
I mean, Conor is always loose on his legs, moving back and forth.
Exactly.
That's why he's so good. And if you don't have that, it's over.
No, exactly. Especially someone with his style, it's crazy. I mean, Dustin overall, what a performance, man! Like he got the takedown and he landed 48 significant strikes. I saw that after the fight. I was like, wow, I don't even think the knockout was so. I mean, he got a TKO, but still, a lot of people are arguing that it could have been a KO. But yeah, the TKO was just so unreal that like it takes away from like all the other stats that happened in the fight. But yeah, he actually landed 48 significant strikes, and I think like more than half of them were those calf kicks.
Yeah, those calf kicks were absolutely deadly,
and they worked.
Yeah, so just to look over we want to go over the fight from the beginning. Well, fight starts and Conor goes forward. I think Conor had him in boxing and he won the first round, definitely. Even though some people don't mention it, like they just because Conor lost, they just completely dismissed the first round. But he won the first round. I really loved it when he got taken down and he came back up to his feet. That's what I talked about before the fight too. I said, like, if you see Conor getting taken down and get back up to his feet, that's when that's what you really want to see. That shows that he can maybe do something with the rematch or whatever. But what happened was that when he went to the second round, he got kicked, and I think that maybe at the beginning, he was kind of like let's say underestimating the kick. Like he wasn't thinking that it's gonna get to that point that it's gonna get so bad, right? But if you really look at the end of
and he
the
didn't
fight,
take that much damage from them in the first round.
He didn't get much kick in the first round.
He mentioned after the fight that it was an accumulation of the shots that it all added up.
And then once he exactly if you go look at the fight again, once Conor starts to realize that this is starting to affect his fight, then he starts to go. Then he starts to get kind of like, I don't know what word to use, but like he started to push really hard. Like he started to go and punch. But the thing was that because he couldn't have the good footwork, then he couldn't land. And the more that he couldn't land, then he got frustrated more. So I think mentally, I'm not saying mentally Conor like he gave up or something like that, but he got to a situation that has never been, because usually Conor, when he has that power of left hand, and when he connects, he see guys falling. But somehow Dustin knew how to like roll on it and continue fighting. So it came to a point that Conor got really frustrated, and because he felt that pain on his knee, then he started to push for it. The last punches that he was throwing, it was a little bit desperate, but that was because just he wanted to finish the fight, because he knew if it wants to go longer, he cannot continue the fight. And what happened was that I think Conor kind of, the style that he was boxing in the end of the fight, he was really into boxing match, like the way he was switching guard and the way he had his hands down and he was doing this. Uh, I think that cost him too. And like Dustin is a great fighter. Like you have to the hats off to him. Even Conor said that. And but what happened was that Conor had his hands down. Maybe if he would go to a little bit of a, he had his guards up a bit. The fight would still finish and Dustin would win the fight. But I don't think he would get knocked out like that, because if you see the way he got knocked out, like his guard was down and Dustin just caught him I think it was a right hook. So overall, the fight was a good fight. I even though it was a big surprise, but it was a good fight. It was a great fight. I give the first round to Conor, but that kind of kick, like as me and Monty talked after the fight, is kind of new in MMA, and I don't think Conor had experience dealing with them. And another mistake that Conor had was that he did not use his leg. Like he kicked maybe 2-3 times in the first round, but he did not really use his leg. And the way his stand was that he was waiting for, I don't know, like pocket boxing or something like that, you can say. But what cost him, like by end of the day, what cost Conor to lose the fight was the lack of MMA. Now maybe he's a great fighter in gym, but when you don't have, as he said himself, when you don't have an official match, it's a whole different story. So Conor was different than the Conor that we've seen before. I'm not saying the guy has changed, even though some people are saying, and I don't think it's fair, but just inactivity is it affects, right? So when you go fight with someone like Dustin, and Dustin, I think Dustin fight with everyone in this division, like Hooker, Gagey, like who else? He fought with many people, Khabib. So he was more active, and Dustin was in a situation that he could deal better with getting hit, while Conor was not, because usually Conor is not a fighter that gets hit, and it was a long time that he wasn't fighting. So
yeah, for sure, he was more
affected
active, but I don't think you can blame everything on inactivity for Conor. I mean, after that performance by Dustin, I don't know, man. He deserves way more praise than he's getting from you, I guess.
Who?
Dustin.
Yeah,
That was a hell of a
dissing him.
performance.
I'm not. That was a hell of a performance.
And the game plan that he stuck to, it was just.
That was
one of the key moments, I think, in the fight was when Dustin he ate a shot from Conor. He ate a very firm shot from Conor, and
he continued.
Like he understands
about the
that
second round, right?
His power isn't the same, or it's not affecting him the same. So I don't know whether it's to say that Conor's power has depleted, or whether Poirier's chin has hardened. I don't know which way it would be. I'm gonna go with Poirier's chin has hardened, and he's kind of had more experience in there. Is kind of basically more fresh in terms of.
His coach said that too. His coach said that.
I think Dustin chin is not like. I think Dustin was more like, if you compare the first fight, he was more loose on his feet, and he kind of absorbed the shot, but like he kind of rolled with it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, if you're getting punched in the face and you have your face directly to the guy and you have your neck really hard, then the damage is gonna feel more. But if Conor's catching you in the end of his punch, and you kind of at the same time you're kind of pulling back, then you get hit, but you don't get a stun that way.
Which
right?
is a testament to how much he's evolved as a fighter and how much his stand-up has improved.
I was just gonna say, if you want to compare this Dustin to the Dustin 7 years ago when they first fought, I think the main factor here in him winning the fight was experience. I think that's what helped him.
Yeah, always. How many fights he had in past 4 years? A lot, I think.
Probably more than 4 at least. Yeah,
for sure more than 4. For sure more than 4. Yeah, of course. For sure
at least once a year, probably twice a year.
Twice a year, probably.
Twice a year.
Yeah, his experience definitely helped him in this one. It was the first time that Conor has ever been knocked out.
And that was a sad part.
That was a sad part, but at the same time, when you saw the knockout or the TKO, he gave up before he was kind of knocked out, in my opinion. When he saw his leg go and the fact that he couldn't even get out the way anymore, I don't know what, like, I kind of saw it in his face, in his eyes, and like that he was
frustrated.
done. He was like,
It was
he's like,
it was-
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just
Yeah,
like
for
that.
sure.
And then he kind of let his hands down and kind of went with it. You know what I mean? Went with it, and he knew the inevitable end in that situation, which was really sad to see. But at the same time, happens often in MMA. A lot of people, they know they're done.
I just want to say, like, I don't know, like what you say is absolutely true, but I don't know. I don't like the word "gave up." It's just I don't
He's
like
back.
that word.
The
But I
Conor
think
fan's back.
no, but I think he couldn't, like, it comes to a point that, like, you realize that the pain is really affecting your game, and he realized that. And even while he was getting punched, he threw a couple punches. So it wasn't like he was giving up, but like he just couldn't continue to fight anymore. And the really bad part about it,
his mentality broke, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Is like he was kind of beaten, and it was kind of sad to see, but at the same time, it's something that obviously he has kind of dealt with adversity in the past and came back stronger. So I'm hoping that this isn't one of those conversations that we've been having recently about age and an age thing, where, you know, he's kind of reaching past his prime and stuff. I don't want to start
the guy's
those.
32.
I'm not wondering about the age at all, and I don't think.
But the lack of octagon time and the lack of, like, the time away from the sport could take its toll in that sense.
But given that he didn't take as much damage, you know, like,
throughout his career, yeah, for sure.
No, like this fight. I'm just talking about this fight. So he could be back pretty soon. You know,
he should be back pretty soon, as Masoud stated.
3 months max, right? We could see him back in like March, May.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he doesn't come back this year and he just keeps fighting once a year, it's not good, man.
Well,
he needs to be active. He needs to fight at least 2 more times this year, in my opinion. And he said that too. He said he wants to fight like 7 times in the next 2 years. That's what he said before this fight. And I think that's the key to, you know, getting back on the win column for him. Yeah. He needs to recover from his injury, get into rehab, you know, dust this off, and start training again for the next fight.
Exactly.
You know, don't hype. Stop hype. You know, I mean, stop. You know, you don't need to hype up a fight for a year.
You know, Masoud,
just jump into the next fight in the next 3-4 months.
Masoud, the only thing I'm wondering about is that, like, his age is nothing. It's not important.
It's not important.
The only thing that is really important is that the guy, even in the fight with Mayweather, his body didn't hit the ground. So you know, it would have. It was the I know, but the doctor stopped the ref stopped the fight before that. Yeah. But so it was. I hope he has that confidence or that mentality. He said he has, but to come back up. But it's really hard defeat in your like, if you're someone that never got knocked down. Maybe he only got knocked down once by Khabib. Yeah. He never got knocked, even with Mayweather. He never got cut down. Knocked down. So, yeah. So
the thing is, the way he ate that hook, like he was in a state of desperation when he was eating all those punches, and he kind of ran into he tried to change direction, and the hook landed straight on his face. You know.
Well, I don't think he had a choice. You know,
yeah, he really didn't. At that point, even if his hands were up, he would have ate body shots. He would have ate different shots, you know?
Especially in front of a guy like Dustin, right?
Yeah, Dustin just rains down.
Like, a lot of professionals are now, you know, saying that, you know, arguably he is the best lightweight right now.
Yeah.
Given that
after
Khabib is, well, he's retired, right? So, like, we're talking active fighters. A lot of people are saying that.
Yeah, Dustin, no doubt.
At the moment, is the best right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I think he proved that on Saturday night. I don't think anyone could argue that right now.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Let's mention Khabib for a second. What he said to Dana after the fight. He mentioned that Dana, be honest with yourself. I've beaten these guys before. I've beaten all of them. I'm, you know, miles ahead of these guys. There's no point for me to come back. So basically, the how you say, the gladiator tournament was a thumbs down by the emperor, and
Yeah.
seems like he wasn't impressed at all at what he's seen.
Well,
He'll
I
come back
mean,
at some point, but you just have to.
I don't think he wasn't. No, he was definitely impressed. But I said it last show too. You know, if we're gonna see Khabib again, it's gonna be another couple years. You know, like 2022, the earliest. You know, so he's gonna give himself time. You know, let's like just to see how this whole division plans out. He might come back for like a super hyped money fight, but yeah, other than that,
Okay,
I don't see him
I
Yeah,
coming.
disagree with
perhaps.
you. I don't think the money that matters at this point. I
No,
think
I'm just saying, you know,
I
like a
think the
super
only
hyped fight.
time, the
What
only way
Maybe in 2 years
money
will
comes with it?
matter
Yeah,
it
again.
won't.
yeah. For
The only time that I think the only time that
he's got
Khabib
like what
comes back,
5, 7 businesses running right
the
now.
only time that Khabib comes back, it doesn't matter if it's, you cannot put a timeline on it until you get a champion that defeats the belt, like holds the belt for like, I don't know, defends the belt like for 4 fights. Until that time, you won't get Khabib back, because you need a champion that can hold the belt, and then it comes to a point that he's like, okay, Khabib, I hold, whether it's Oliveira and whoever it is, they can say, okay, I hold the belt for 4 fights, and I'm defending the belt. Come back, I want to fight with you, and maybe at that point Khabib comes back. But with 1 or 2 fights, getting the belt, I don't think Khabib comes back. Even if Charles Oliveira or whoever else becomes the champion, Khabib won't come back unless you
Yeah.
defeat the belt. That's it. So anyway,
Well, yeah, Khabib also tweeted right after Connor's fight, mentioning how that if you, yeah, he said something about sparring partners, where if you change the sparring partners that made you the champion, you know, and start sparring with little
Yeah, I
kids,
saw that.
this is what happens and whatnot. And obviously, the little kids reference is, it's like to that promo thing he did, like what was it, like for charity or something, where like there was like she was like wrestling some kid in a gym. So yeah, I mean, Connor, after the interview, I thought was classier in a sense, that he said that was a, you know, disrespectful comment, which it was, I felt, and that was kind of classless by Khabib to do something like that. And perhaps we are seeing a newer side to Khabib that maybe we haven't seen before, because
and that's what Connor said.
he's
Said
yeah,
you see the
he's
man
learning
with-
English. He's learning English. He's, you know, being a translator for his team, and, you know, all that stuff. So I don't know. That was one of the things. I want to segue from that tweet about training partners and stuff into kind of the MMA evolving thing that we kind of skimmed over a little bit, about how calf kicks are something that are new, or something that's a new technique being used in MMA, and it kind of was born when Conor was not in MMA, basically, or like basically
That's right.
was not active, and I don't know if you can
And believe me,
blame
if
it on
Conor-
lack of coaching. If you can blame it on lack of coaching, or if you want to blame it on sparring partners basically not, you know, giving you that look, or not doing enough research, or that, or whether it's something that has to be learned in the octagon, or has to be experienced in the octagon. Maybe it doesn't affect some in some ways, or it doesn't matter. That calf kick will take down anybody. What do you guys think?
I think I mean, if he checked those calf kicks, he may have been doing better. But the thing is, the area of the leg that you know, when you throw a calf kick, it lands on the outer side of the lower leg, right? And that part of the leg is very vulnerable. Your peroneal nerve that goes to your foot, you know, goes down from there. It's just soft muscle, and your fibula is there. If you get hit there compared to your quadriceps, you can take a lot more kicks to the quadriceps, and especially with these guys with big, you know, tree trunks, they can eat those even if they don't check them. But with you know, with the peroneal nerve being there, and it just does too much damage. Doesn't matter how strong your legs are.
Well,
The
Connor
damage
was
is too much.
claiming. Connor was claiming that he checked a lot of those calf kicks.
He didn't.
Not fully.
He did
Not
not.
fully.
He thought he was checking him. He said
Yeah,
that.
he said
Yeah.
that, right? But yeah.
You
He
watch
did-
the
he didn't
fights.
say I
He
did,
ate
he
them.
said I
He
thought.
ate them.
Oh yeah.
He
Well,
said
yeah,
I
it
thought
was.
I checked.
Yeah, it was obvious. Yeah,
He
for
said I
sure.
thought I checked.
Yeah,
it.
because he wasn't familiar with the technique. He wasn't thinking about it. It wasn't like at all in the game plan, or like to be wary of it, or and I don't know. Do you guys think that's a coaching thing, or
I
was
just want to
Khabib
add
kind
this.
of right?
Well, I
I
mean,
don't
the
think
coach, his coach,
John
I forgot his
Kavanaugh.
John Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Um, he was actually talking about that with Ariel
Yeah, I
right
listened to that.
before, yeah, the day before. So I don't think, I mean, like at this point, at this stage, when you're fighting at this level, I don't think there's something as big as those calf kicks that we have seen, champions fall. I don't think that's something you look past, when you have like a couple months to prepare for a fight. I don't think that's something you can overlook, especially with someone like Conor, like at that stage, his coaches definitely knew that, they got to prepare for that.
Yeah. Then the thing is, you look at Connor's past few fights. Who was the last fighter that was peppering Connor with kicks? Nate Diaz, Khabib, Eddie
Yeah.
Alvarez, Mayweather.
No.
you know, it's he just doesn't. He's usually the one kicking and not
Yeah.
not really getting
Yeah.
kicked in return. So he definitely knows that technique. He knows how to check it. He knows everything, but he wasn't expecting it.
But he doesn't know, basically.
He
He knows, but
knows.
he doesn't know.
No, but he wasn't
So I
expecting
think,
it. He thought he
yeah,
can
but
take it. He thought he can
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
it, and he
but
wasn't expecting how much damage he can take from those kicks
yeah,
Or
because
maybe
he
like
hadn't
what
taken it
Money
before.
said, it's just that he didn't have the first hand experience, like
Exactly.
in the
First,
octagon,
well, all
absolutely.
it is, I think it doesn't go to the coaching thing at all, or it doesn't go to the skills or whatever. What happened? That's the whole story. What happened is that, I don't know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, after Conor, after his last fight with Eddie Alvarez, he went to boxing. So he I don't know how long he trained for that fight. You guys know better than me. But for a while he trained for that fight, which was only boxing. Then after that fight, then he went and fought a guy who he only had to be worried about his takedown. Even though Khabib threw that punch, but that because of his
Threw a lot of punches, man.
yeah,
It wasn't
because
one punch.
yeah, but it was that specific punch that lands. So in that fight, I don't want to go back to that fight, but I don't think Khabib really landed that punch. But all I'm saying is that Conor didn't practice MMA when he was fighting for Mayweather, and then after that, when he was to fight with Khabib, for sure Conor didn't do any boxing, like maybe a little bit, but all he was worrying about is to get him taken down. So when you look at Conor history for past 3 years, he's been a one-dimensional fighter. Like I'm not saying
You
this is
don't know that
bad.
though. You don't know what
No,
he's
no,
doing
but
in the training camps.
Yeah.
I
You do
don't know
not
what
know
he's
that.
doing, but I know, but the type of the fight that he's been in. So you cannot tell me, like, there's no way that you tell me when Conor was
He
getting
fought
ready for Khabib.
Cerrone.
Yeah, but they put a dead body in front of the guy. Cerrone lost 2 fights in a row, and they put him in front of.
He's been active, and he's been. I mean,
Yeah, but you someone
Yeah,
as
he
old
is.
as Donald
Conor
Cerrone, you don't put
fans.
it in front of someone as explosive as Conor. For sure, he's gonna finish the fight. I remember before that fight started, I said the fight's gonna be over in the first round, and that's what happened because I knew it. But like what it is that, like, I'm just saying, when you want to fight MMA, you have to practice MMA, and when you don't practice, when you don't spar like a MMA fighter, and you don't work on an MMA skills, that's what happens. So after a long time, after those 2 fights, which I don't know how much gap was between the Mayweather and Khabib, then he came to Dustin, and Dustin is a top guy in 155 division. He's a top guy. So we all underestimated that. Now we're saying this because the equation is solved, but that's what the story was that Conor didn't really. It's been a while that he wasn't, even though he fought in UFC with Khabib, but that wasn't a fight that he was practicing how to box because he was confident in his boxing. He was only practicing how to not being taken down, or if he gets taken down, get back up to his feet, which you see in the first round, he got taken down and he got back up to his feet. So kick was something that maybe he practiced a bit, but not for a long time, and he was surprised with it. So
All right, guys. So let's round off this discussion by just asking all of you guys one final decision, because even Dana posed this question: is have you seen the last of Connor, or is he gonna come back strong? Masood, what do you think?
I think if he, recovers and comes back this year and fights a few more times, I think he can recover, and I think it's not the last of Conor. He's still young. He's in great shape. He's gonna come back strong if he chooses to. But if he takes years off, he takes long periods of times off, and is inactive, I don't think he's gonna recover.
Yeah,
MJ, what do you think?
exactly. Yeah, as I said, he didn't take that much damage. And I think he can manage a quick recovery, and he said he's gonna recover and come back. So let's see if he can keep that promise.
I
Sam?
think I think if he stays on his opinion that he said that I'm gonna come back, you never know. I mean, he might change his mind because he has the money. But if he wants to come back, he will only come back as strong if, as Masoud said, if he comes back and fights in 3 months. That's it. If you want to come back in 6 months, just forget it, because nothing's gonna happen. You're gonna lose again. But if he comes back in 3 months and he doesn't get in the hype of that, and actually, you know what? Conor losing was really good because right now he's still famous and whatever. But right now, for every single fight, it doesn't take 5 months for Dana and Conor and whoever else he wants to fight with. It doesn't take 5 months for them to go over the numbers and come to an agreement. It's an easier fight to schedule, and that's really good. So if Conor starts to fight in the next 3 months and then again 4 months after that, then you can see Conor back again. Other than that, he's gone. That's it.
All right. So let's go into the co-main event, and then we'll talk about a little bit about this lightweight division. In the co-main event, Michael Chandler took on Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker was ranked 6th lightweight division, while Michael Chandler was a former Bellator champion coming into this one. And as in terms of UFC debuts go, that was probably one of the best that you can have. It was kind of like a horse, a bronco being released in inside basically the cage, or inside the racetrack, and he was just gunning down Dan Hooker, chasing him all around the octagon, not letting him get any ounce of space or give him any looks to counter, and takes him down with a beautiful combination, right, into the face, into the body, takedown, finish. And the amount of strikes that he landed on the ground was something to be seen. It was amazing in terms of how explosive he is. It reminded me of a little bit of some of the most explosive guys we've had in the UFC, where they have that kind of style where when they smell blood they just go off. And he seems like he's one of those fighters.
For sure.
One thing to say about Dan Hooker, though, I felt that it was a very disappointing performance by him. I don't know whether the occasion got to him, whether it was too early in the morning to be fighting for him, or he was scared of Chandler somehow. He got intimidated inside the octagon. Big muscular guy. I don't know.
He was too scared about takedown.
He did not look confident, and he did not know basically what to do in that situation. And it was kind of like a stampede rolled over him.
Yeah, I mean, amazing performance by Chandler. Amazing performance. I was stunned, man. I was like, whoa, this guy. Take nothing away from him, but Dan Hooker, I mean, what the hell was that? I mean, I'm still looking for the Dan Hooker we knew, I'm like, where is this guy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought we were gonna see a much more competitive fight, but it wasn't. As you said, I think it was just Dan Hooker being too afraid of getting taken down, or like the whole like night got to him or whatever. I don't know. It was a bad performance, man. He was just constantly going back. His hands were down. He looked scared. Yeah. I don't know what to say, but amazing performance from Chandler.
Yeah, man. One of the best debuts.
I just hope he didn't get injured doing that backflip on the cage.
Yeah, that was scary, crazy, man.
It happened so fast. I mean, like the ref didn't even step in, and the guy was on the cage doing the backflip.
His knees and stuff looked under tremendous stress.
Dana said I hate backflips.
Yeah,
and
of
It
course.
reminded me of that Johnny Walker celebration. I'm like, come
Oh
on,
my
man,
God.
don't injure yourself. You know, that's your first fight. You just put on a great performance.
Yeah.
Don't injure yourself doing a backflip for
Yeah,
no
but
reason.
he
But
had
back-
a ton of adrenaline after that
Yeah.
defeat, though. He
Yeah.
was
Oh,
just going off. If he would have like went off the cage and started beating up Dana too, like he was just unleashed.
You could see in his interview after in the octagon, right? Like he started the interview really calm, and then in the end he was just shouting out loud.
Yeah, he
did-
started calling out everyone. You know,
He did a
like
Ric
Khabib,
Flair.
RDA, Nate Diaz, Joe Rogan.
But it was a good performance. But what it came down to is there's no problem if you're fighting a wrestler and you're really like you can be afraid of a takedown. There's no problem with that, and you can go back, but you have to throw. You have to throw some punch or something. So the issue wasn't that Dan Hooker was going backward. The issue was that he wasn't throwing any punch, and he was just like I don't even remember him throwing any punch. I think he maybe threw 2 punch or something.
One or two, yeah.
Not even that. Not even that.
I don't think he
Yeah,
landed any
he
significant
froze in a
strikes.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like he was, I don't know, he was too scared of the takedown. But if you keep
He
going
landed
back,
8 strikes.
8 strike. If you keep going back and you don't throw any hand or anything, the fighter who's pushing you backward, at some point he's gonna find that reach. He's gonna find that distance, and he's gonna caught you because he tries a couple of times. He cannot caught you, and then if you don't give him anything back, then he starts step by step. He starts to find that gap, and he's gonna connect, and that's what Chandler did. And credit to Chandler, but there's no way. There's a lot of guys in top of the chart that is still Chandler has to go through. I don't think Chandler can beat Justin Gaethje. It might be
Masoud,
really
what do you think about
weird
that
for
fight?
you.
And the fight.
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. Someone.
No, go
But
ahead,
that's-
Masoud. What do you
sorry.
think of that fight? He wants to get into a new conversation.
Yeah, man, the fight was incredible. Dan Hooker looked hesitant. He was moving laterally. He wasn't throwing anything. He wasn't. I don't know. He looked off. And I want to talk about Michael Chandler. That was incredible. The way I give him so much. He deserves credit for the way he set up that punch. He threw a bunch of straight shots to the body as Dan Hooker was circling the octagon. And he set up. If you guys watch the fight, you see he set up that left hook by first, the first minute throwing a bunch of shots to the body, and Dan Hooker kept moving away and bringing his hands down. And then this guy is super athletic. The way he closed in after that straight punch with the left hook, that was it. He dropped him, and then the shots that followed on the ground. Quick shots. He couldn't. If Chandler threw them a little slower, he may have recovered. But man, he just hammered them so fast. So welcome to the UFC, man. That guy he just raised his stocks like tremendously.
To say the least, he made a statement.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
100%.
And we didn't even.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and we didn't even see his wrestling.
Oh yeah. What he's known for. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So,
man. Explosive, amazing debut. One of the craziest debuts that like you've ever seen. Most people, even Dana admitted, like people that come to the UFC, their initial debut is not really good often, and that was as good as it can get, basically. All right, so in terms of the lightweight division, so we basically had these two very important fights done and dusted with, and we saw what happened basically in both fights. And in terms of our little faux tournament, lightweight tournament, how is the picture looking for you guys? One of the things that was mentioned after in the press conference, someone asked Dana, are you expecting Dustin to fight Chandler for the title next? And he said very convincingly, like, yes. But I have a feeling that he didn't understand the question entirely in that situation. He didn't fully grasp what the guy was asking, and he just like said yes or something like that, because there's no way that Michael Chandler deserves a title shot after that. Surely, right?
No.
I don't think like after one fight in the UFC, you would be, up for the title shot, and let alone the lightweight title. That's this renowned holy
Yeah,
grail of the
especially against the
UFC.
guy who's coming off a loss. Like Dan Hooker he's a great fighter. But like
Yeah, nothing
he's lost 2 in
nothing
a row
against
now,
Hooker
right?
or anything. I mean, it was
No,
it
I'm
was a
just saying,
tough
like
opponent on paper.
exactly, yeah. If he fought
That's
someone
what
like
Dustin said. That's what Dustin
Yeah,
said. It was
yeah.
you cannot beat a guy that I just beat and come get the title shot. So
I mean, he
makes
definitely
sense.
like if you want to look at it as the tournament, he definitely like got himself into the semifinals, but not in the final yet.
Yeah,
Like he's
definitely.
there. I'll put him in the top 4 right now. But yeah, there's just a couple more people, in line in front of him.
Yeah, Dustin went on to say that he does not believe that Chandler deserves a title shot, and Dustin was very dismissive of the whole title thing in his press conference too, saying how uh, he thinks he's the champion of his division regardless of whether he gets a title shot or not. So, what's
That
going
was
on with
smart.
Dustin?
That was smart. That was really smart of Dustin because he has a point because I don't know, everyone is dismissing Justin Gaethje, but anyway, he lost against Khabib, so he is there, right? And Dustin already beat that guy before, and he beat Hooker too. So he was like, I'm the champion, and I don't care what you do with the division. And I think he wants to he kind of said that to get away from fighting with Chandler. I'm not saying he's scared of Chandler. I'm just saying he doesn't want to deal with that. Maybe he prefers to have the third trilogy with Conor because it might be a great fight, and money wise it might be good for him too, and it might be even more motivation. So
He even brought it up. He said it.
yeah, I think that's why in the octagon he talked the way he talked, and he had there's some reason for like what he said. It makes sense that he's a champion, but also I think he's thinking about future too. He kind of wants to make a good situation for himself to fight Conor again. So
Okay, so let's just make a list to see who's in the mix, right? We
Okay.
got Dustin Poirier, we got Charles Oliveira, we got Justin Gaethje, we got
they put the
RDA,
ranking tomorrow, so we
we
have to see
got
how
Chandler. Who else? Connor or no?
Here's the thing, guys.
Conor.
Yeah, Connor is still
Ben-
in the conversation.
Ben
Yeah, give it a second
Askren.
chance. Yeah.
Ben Askren. No, let me tell you, Ben Askren tweeted something that was interesting.
I thought
He
you
said
said
He said the four-man
Yeah, Khabib said he deserves my belt.
tournament: Poirier versus Chandler, Oliveira versus Gaethje,
that
and
makes sense.
the winners fight for the title. I think for the first time Ben Askren said something reasonable, and
I actually
Well, I
don't
mean,
agree with that
No,
at
man,
all.
you're
You know, I
ignoring.
agree with that.
you're-
Why not?
RDA,
Absolutely
man.
not.
I mean at this
Wait,
point,
what?
Connor. I
RDA?
mean,
No, man,
Yeah.
that's disrespectful to
No, hold
Poirier
on.
and
RDA
Oliveira.
No,
Okay,
I'm just saying,
Masood-
put him in the
Masood,
mix.
RDA was
Put him
there?
in the mix.
no, not RDA. No, Poirier,
RDA wasn't.
Chandler versus Oliver Gaethje.
That's right. That makes sense.
No,
And then they
absolutely
go
not.
for it.
That makes
So
no
it's
sense
between four.
whatsoever.
So what would make sense?
What would make sense?
Poirier Oliveira makes sense.
That would make
No,
the
but
most
we're
sense.
making
yeah.
we are
For
making
title.
the 4 fight. No, but we're
No,
talking-
there shouldn't be any semifinals at this stage.
So you're completely dismissing Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, of course. I
cannot
already
do
talked
that. No,
about
you
this.
cannot do
I
that.
already
Yeah,
mentioned
you
that
cannot
Justin
do
Gaethje,
that.
in my opinion, is not a top contender. And Tony
Okay,
made him look good.
but that's your opinion. You have to go based on the fact.
I
and
understand
record.
that.
So,
I understand that.
so
But I
the
think Tony
guy-
made him look
the
good,
guy
and
lost-
he's not near anyone's. None
No,
of these guys.
he needs another fight before he's even
Like if you put
considered.
Gaethje in front of
Yeah,
Poirier
yeah.
again, he'll lose.
okay,
No,
okay.
100%.
I'm saying
If you-
saying he doesn't. Gaethje doesn't. I'm not saying Gaethje deserves a title fight. No, he doesn't. But he deserves to fight for a fight that gets him to a title.
Okay,
Sure,
yeah,
but
give
not
him
against
someone,
Oliveira, yeah.
give him someone that's still in the mix and coming off a loss.
Maybe RDA.
Or I mean, RDA won his last fight, but give him like Tony or even Connor, man.
You cannot give him Tony though. He already beat.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry,
Tony,
Come on, guys.
Tony is
Yeah.
out of the picture for a title. I mean, he's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
out of it. I don't
Yeah.
think he's ever gonna get there.
I know it's a little bit difficult to kind of match up everything, but like you cannot dismiss a guy that lost to Khabib because everyone lost to Khabib. So
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
like-
we're considering Khabib out of this picture now. We're assuming that he's going to vacate the title and he's gone. And that's basically
hold on.
what we're
Let's
assuming.
do the question like this. This doesn't work. The way we're doing this, it doesn't work. Rank me top 5. Just say it from
Top 5.
top
Dustin.
5. Yeah. Okay.
Dustin.
Okay.
I have to go with Chandler.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God. Okay. Just I
Who else?
couldn't believe you said. So you're saying Chandler has a better ranking than Charles Oliveira?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about Oliveira. I forgot about him.
Wake up, bro.
Charles Oliveira, if you're listening to this.
Okay.
No, yeah. Dustin, Oliveira, and then you go to, everyone else, including Chandler, including Justin.
Gagey Chandler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that would make sense. Yeah. Gagey
Dustin,
Chandler. That'd be a great fight.
Oliveira, Gagey, Chandler. That's it.
That's a good. Yeah, I would agree with that.
And you
And
know
then
what?
maybe set
So
up.
what do you
set
do
up,
with that ranking?
Okay,
Just-
now that this is the ranking, right? Sometimes what it makes sense is that number 1 fights with number 3 and number 2 fights with number 4. So
No, you just make it straight up.
What is
title
that?
battle.
NBA playoffs?
Yeah,
No.
no. You go.
Exactly what Askren said. Yeah.
that's what it is.
Okay, let's just
No, you
forget
have-
what Askren said.
Hold on. You can.
Askren is
If you have a vacant
words of
title,
wisdom from Ben Askren.
if you have a vacant title, you have to do it in a semifinal way or NBA
No,
way or
why?
whatever
You
call
have to
it.
do one
You have to. That's how it
one
works.
fight for
You
the
cannot
title.
just give a title.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The UFC doesn't do these kinds of tournaments, and they don't even want to be associated with doing these kinds of
No,
tournaments
it's
because
just a
they
made-up
know their
thing, for
competitors
sure.
are
Yeah,
doing it.
Yeah.
No, but
Bellator is doing
sometimes-
tournaments.
Sometimes the situation makes it like that. But anyway, I don't know.
But
And
next
you-
title fight is
Dana will
Oliveira,
never come to that.
Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira. It's the next title fight.
If
that
you
makes
want
the
to,
most sense.
if you
Yeah, that
want
would
to
make the
go-
most sense. That would be the most fair to both
But-
of those guys.
yeah.
Anything else for those guys, Poirier and Oliveira,
It's
any
slap
other
in the
fight they
face.
get is a slap in the face, and the UFC doesn't respect them or doesn't want them to see them as.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So
As
you-
champion.
you need
You
Dustin
know what? I
and-
agree with that somewhat.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree
then
with
set up-
both.
and
To
then
be
set up-
honest,
The
I
only
think-
thing that's important in this is if Poirier himself comes and says, you know what, I want Conor again because of the money,
which might
and
happen.
then that's his right, and that's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay,
think
but
And that's
Conor would want
respecting
that too.
Poirier, and that's respecting Poirier in that sense.
but in that case, he would have to give up the belt, right? He would have to give
He
up the
doesn't have
title
a
fight.
belt right now.
No, I mean the title
Yeah,
fight.
who
He would-
cares?
he would have
He
to
said-
give
No,
up-
who
no,
cares?
that would be for the title fight.
He
No,
said
come on.
no. Conor
Yeah.
and Dustin
Come on.
title fight.
Yeah,
That will never happen.
after Khabib vacates, and
That will never happen.
and
It's impossible for
they'll
them.
That makes no sense,
overlook
man.
Oliveira and Chandler easily, in my opinion.
I really hope that doesn't happen.
Look, it's all about the moolah, guys. It's all about
Yeah,
the
but
moolah.
I mean-
which of you guys quoted how much Conor made this fight? Conor
5
versus
million.
Poirier.
18
million?
Yeah.
18.225
And Conor
million.
Poirier
Well, the
made
official
800,000.
payouts were like 3
No,
million.
more than 800,000. What do you mean, man?
I read them.
How much?
I-
How much?
Yeah,
Poirier
Dustin made
Conor-
800K.
Plus the pay-per-view, he made 18.25 million euros or pounds or was
Holy,
it, or
Let's
18
see.
million, let's say, whatever it is.
whatever.
And what
Was
about
that his UFC
I-
payout
I-
or just including like
His
all
check
like,
was 3 million, I
there you
think.
go, okay, 3 million, yeah.
what
But
about Dustin? Dustin's got 1.2. I heard.
no, 800 something, I think.
Yeah,
I
800K.
think it's more than a mil.
I'm gonna search it right now.
It was sad.
Search it
but
out.
yeah,
I
it was
don't. I don't
800K.
think it's. less
Anyways,
than a mil.
either way, Poirier at the end of that fight, he was calm, relaxed, and super, excited because he knew there's a big check coming to Daddy tonight, and it's a milli kind of check,
Millie is on the way.
and he like
Yeah,
you can
milli.
see the kind of like the sparkle in his eyes or like the smirk on his face in a sense that says like, yeah, I beat your boy and I'm taking your money. You know what I mean? Like kind of like that. And it was a redemption kind of feeling. So for Dustin at this point, he goes like, yeah, let's do that again because
Yeah.
I'm clearly a superior fighter right now. And the paycheck the next time is going to be even more because you beat him this time.
Guys,
Yeah.
Dustin,
Con-
I brought
Hold on,
up
hold on.
the.
Go on, Masu, go ahead.
Sorry. So Dustin made $830,000.
Wow.
There you go.
50,000 of it
Yeah,
was bonus
800.
for performance bonus, 30,000 sportsmanship bonus, 750,000 purse.
That's
Connor
crazy,
got
man.
a $3.04 million check plus the pay-per-view, which added up to 18.
18 million.
Dustin doesn't get pay. Dustin gets pay-per-view too, right?
I doubt that he got it. Maybe, I
Come
don't know.
on.
I
That's
mean,
not
these payouts don't always make sense, man.
The pay-per-view cut has to be in your contract.
Yeah, I guess
And-
that's
and-
not added here. Though.
And
I'm
they
only
usually
eating-
add it
eating
to your
checks.
contract when you become a champion, which
I guess-
Dustin
There's
has
another-
become, so he might have it.
Guys, there's another thing possible is that okay, there's no one has a belt right now. Khabib retired. So okay, if Dustin thinks that he's a champion and he doesn't really care about division, he can go do a trilogy with what's that? With Conor, and then at the same time other fighters fight for title. That's possible too. That can happen too, you know. If the guy doesn't want to go for the belt and he already says, I'm the champion and I don't care what you do with the division, and he already said all these stuff, and he said, I'm ready for the trilogy. So probably you're gonna see Dustin and Conor, but if you see Dustin and Conor for the belt, that's the most stupid idea I've ever seen.
Yeah, man,
Like,
because the
like,
guy just
seriously.
lost. If you want to give him a rematch,
Yeah,
sure, but
yeah.
do it in a
Yeah.
few months, you know? Like,
Even though I'm a Conor fan,
let him
it's
fight his way
it
back
doesn't make
in.
sense. It doesn't make sense. Even though I'm a Conor fan, it doesn't make sense. It's really unfair to.
I know it doesn't make sense, but I can
It's the money
see
fight.
it
Yeah, it's
happening,
the money fight,
and
and
I can understand how Dana would make it happen. He would be like, just make sure Khabib is stalling for another 5 months.
Okay,
And
hold
that-
on. One question, money. So let's say what you, and you're right. The thing that Dana knows how to do it, and it's I'm because they've done it before, so I might agree with you. But do you think the Conor that you see right now, in point of publicity, I don't care about his skills. I'm just talking about media. Do you think media and the average UFC viewer or fan wants to see that fight for belt? I think average UFC fans, they have the same understanding as us that this fight cannot be for belt. It's different now because Conor didn't.
Okay,
win
so the
Ah.
average UFC fan is outnumbered 5-1 by a Conor fan.
oh yeah, Connor
So,
stands.
it doesn't
Connor
matter.
Stands. Connor stands. Yeah, man. You'll be surprised, man.
Yeah.
Everybody,
some of these-
everything is
some of
like
these Conor
times
fan-
5.
Yeah.
when
I
it
don't know,
comes
I
to-
don't
And
understand.
some of these fans would give him the belt like right away.
Even though I'm a Conor fan, I don't know. I think it's not fair. It's just I hope
Nah,
all
it's-
fans
nah,
have the
it's
same
definitely,
understanding.
not fair, but I mean, you can see it happening in
I'm
in
just
one way
saying,
or
right
another.
now, Michael Chandler and Charles Oliveira have to be ranked above Connor.
Michael,
I don't know about Chandler.
I don't know about
Chandler,
Chandler,
I
but
don't know.
Oliveira,
Oliveira-
100%. Oliveira is next for the
I would
line.
put Chandler,
Chandler
fourth.
after one fight,
But,
I mean,
but-
people were complaining about Khamzat after 3 fights being ranked 15th. So Chandler after one
Yeah.
fight being ranked 3rd. Let's
Well, I mean,
let's give it
he
a sec.
was the
If
backup.
who-
He was the backup for the Khabib
Who
fight.
cares?
Let's not
And-
forget
and-
that.
Who cares?
You know?
And that was a whole lot of politics that we
Yeah.
won't get into maybe
Okay,
another
sure.
time.
if Hooker was coming
guys,
out
guys,
of
guys,
Ben, it would be different. I would tell Chandler on top.
This conversation can go on for days because we don't
Order.
know what's going to happen, and we have to give a little bit of time for the other people that fought on this card. First of all, with Joanna Calderwood versus Jessica Ai, we previewed this fight with heavy favorites towards Joanna Calderwood, and Jessica Ai definitely came out and was solid in a sense in the first 2 rounds, but her strategy for the 3rd round, I think, was a little bit. It didn't work. It wasn't really working out for her, and Calderwood basically just took the lead at that point and definitely won the fight convincingly thereafter. But performance, like an impressive performance by JoJo. I really like to see her make her way back into a
For
title
sure.
fight at some point. With that performance, perhaps she could, in that division. You guys have anything to add on that fight? I mean, it wasn't necessarily the greatest of fights, but it was a very competitive one.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
it was
It was
nice
cool.
fight. I liked it. It was a good one.
Good fight.
I'm gonna butcher his name. Mahmoud
Moradov.
Muradov against Sanchez. Andrew
What a
Sanchez.
finish! What?
Yeah, that was a great fight. A very
That was-
competitive, close fight. Up, first two rounds were even,
Yeah.
perhaps. It was Mahmoud's. I'm just gonna say Mahmoud, man. I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm putting that khe in there.
Well,
It was.
it's a KH though.
I know, but
Mahmoud.
I don't know. I don't know who wrote it. Maybe they didn't know what they were doing. But either way, Mahmoud, it was his UFC debut. He's coming into the UAV as a very hot prospect. He's on a 14 win streak now. And he looked like he had some heavy hands. And after he got the finish, he jumped over the cage and asked Dana why he's not following him on Instagram. Because apparently followers and likes are more important than your
So do
UFC
it.
contract. So give us a like.
Yeah, he wasn't complaining about a contract. He's like, why not following me on Instagram?
Yeah, so impressive
it's a new
performance by Mahmoud. Hope we can see him back in the UFC soon. Dana said in his conference that they may not be going back to Fight Island until June or July. Which makes me it kind of says like some of these international fighters, their careers are gonna like basically stall a little bit in that sense because they can only fight in Dubai. But I'm not complaining because we have some unreal cards coming up at Vegas in the Apex. And even though Dana White expressed some of his concerns regarding the new administration in the States and how he might not be able to put on fights, he didn't sound so confident, which is not a good sign. But hopefully we get to see all of these fights basically fulfilled and happen. Before we get into some of the upcoming fights in 2021, we have to give a shout out to Amanda Ribas in her defeat to Marina Rodriguez. And Marina Rodriguez before the fight in the previews, they were showing how she was saying, yeah, they offered me Amanda Ribas before, and she wasn't ranked or ranked highly at that point, and I didn't want to take the fight because I thought I was a more mature fighter in that sense. And then now that she's kind of been on a hot streak and whatnot, and she got ranked higher, then I decided to accept the fight, and
she still beat him.
Definitely beat her and beat her convincingly. Marina Rodriguez was not to be taken lightly in that fight. I think a lot of people probably overlooked her again because of the whole hype train in a sense of Amanda Ribas and the people that were backing her a lot. But it was a sort of a rude wake up call for Amanda Ribas.
That's the thing with these hype trains, man. Sometimes it works against you, sometimes it works for you. In this case, I think it works against her. I think she got caught in those, like the whole media thing, and
exactly.
like too much. I don't know. Maybe she was just a better fighter.
Well, I mean, everything in the fight indicated that she was a better fighter. In terms,
Amanda Ribas, like her last fight, she was still, all this fun character. She was still all that, right? But in the cage, she was all like focused and like, like.
She got caught with the left hook. That's it.
First round, she had the first round. You got to give it to her. She got that 10-9 round in the first round, in my opinion. But she got caught, man. It happens. I don't think she's a hype. I think she's a great fighter. Yeah. We all know she's a great fighter. But
for sure.
Caught.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
there were two high caliber strawweight, woman going at it, and she got caught. I'm sure she's gonna bounce right back. Big, congratulations to Marina Rodriguez.
Yeah, so we don't really have too much time to go over the whole Herb Dean thing, so we'll maybe touch on that next week when there are no fights. But let's get into some of the fights that have been announced officially. that are coming up for us in 2021 back at UFC Apex in Vegas. So starting with the Saturday, February 6th, obviously we know Overeem versus Volkov. It's been announced for a while now. But the pay-per-view event after that, which is on February 13th, is Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns for the welterweight title. And we have been waiting for this fight for a while.
Finally.
It's been canceled and rescheduled for a while now. And this fight I'm really looking forward to this fight because I personally think that Gilbert Burns has a great chance of dethroning Usman.
He can come out of I don't think Usman can put him in the clinch that much, and everyone thinks Usman is a great wrestler, and maybe he is, but I think he didn't really. I think Gilbert Burns does not take him down. He cannot take him down that easy, and it's gonna be against the cage. And if Gilbert Burns can open that space, then just get separated, I think he has the power in his hand to finish the fight.
So, yeah, even if he does take him down, Gilbert Burns is definitely a beast on the ground. Maybe Usman doesn't even want to take him to the ground. Oh, yeah. Clinch work, he'll definitely want to do, and he probably will because that's his go-to game plan. But he definitely doesn't want to go into the ground with this guy.
Do you want to stand up with Gilbert Burns?
Now Usman's stand-up has improved a lot.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
A lot. He's no longer just a wrestler type. So I think that he will stand up with Gilbert, and I think both of them have a fair chance. I'm not gonna be like one is definitely better than the other. I think they're probably equal in that sense. Perhaps Usman a little more cultured because he's the champion and he's faced multiple different contenders rather than Gilbert, where he's had a relatively fast rise to the contention. So I'm excited for this one. I mean, we'll get into it in much more detail.
That whole card, there's some great fights.
Yeah, lots of good fights. Just to shout out one, Kevin Gastelum versus Ian Heinisch. Kind of a redemption fight for both, really, because they both kind of need to get back into the groove of things. Moving on from that, we have Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis. I feel like this fight gets announced every year. I don't know. I don't know if it's just I'm just tripping or this fight has always has this happened before?
That was one of the fights I was really looking forward to. I know it's not like the most famous the names, but I was really looking forward to that fight just to see how it turns out. But yeah, it got canceled.
Yeah, so we're going to be seeing that at the end of February. It's a fight night. They're going to be heading a main event. We'll see how that goes. We have another fight night the week after that with Dominic Reyes back against Jiri Prochazka. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but Jiri Prochazka, if you guys remember, had a spectacular knockout in the first Fight Island, I believe, against Volkan Ozdemir, a former top contender in the light heavyweight division. And Jiri versus Dominic Reyes is a fascinating one. It is also a main event, so it will be 5 rounds. What do you guys think? I think Reyes, I think he's done. I don't think he's going to get through this guy either.
But I mean, just as the styles make fights, right? I mean, that's going to be one of the fights. I mean, it has the potential to be fight of the year if both of them show up.
Okay.
I mean,
overhyped much?
No, I mean, it's definitely, trust me, man. Okay, whatever.
Maybe the knockout of the year.
It's gonna be one of those.
Yeah, maybe knockout of the year. Yeah, I don't expect this fight to go past the first round, to be honest with you.
Okay, why you think Reyes cannot do it? Are you saying this because of the damage he took in the last fight, or you just
no, absolutely not. I'm saying it because of because he's definitely a young fighter. He has every chance to come back and prove himself. I'm not writing him off completely, but what I think happened in the title fight against Yan was a lack of mentality. I thought it was a lack of mentality, or maybe a lack of maturity, or something that didn't resonate with me. He looked past Yan a little bit, and he was imagining himself as the champion without fighting yet, without having to fight yet, and that to me shows a little bit of weakness, that is difficult, in my opinion, to fix in yourself, in your personality, in your vision, in your mentality. Of course, some people are made of a different cloth. They obviously take, that on the chin, and they go and camp down, go and come back even stronger, as we have seen with many great champions in the UFC. But I personally just think that Dominic Reyes is not one of those caliber fighters that's going to be making a great comeback in this division. Now that we have, after that, Izzy versus Jan.
Oof, yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
So I don't know, what do you guys think?
Let's talk about that one.
That was Reyes.
about Reyes fight.
Yeah. Oh, you want to? Yeah. Actually,
doesn't matter.
let's
Izzy
get
versus
into.
Jan.
Yeah,
Let's go
let's
with
get
Izzy versus
straight
Jan.
into Izzy
We'll
versus
get into
Jan,
that
because
later.
it is a fight night, so it's gonna, that week of it, we'll preview it fully. So Izzy versus Jan. Obviously, a lot of people have been mentioning this for months now, and it's been in the talks for a while, and it's been official for a while. And again, a lot of people, like they do in every Jan Blachowicz fight, is write him off completely. Now,
But this
is
time,
this the time that maybe writing him off isn't such a bad idea?
I think
Well,
so.
here's the thing, people.
Of course,
I
you
think
would
so.
think so.
I think so.
He's been an underdog most of his career, and he's an amazing fighter. I think one aspect of his game that people are taking, not noticing, is his grappling, his wrestling. He takes people down, and I have a feeling, I'm gonna say it now, I think he's gonna utilize it against Israel, and because Israel's been taken down, and I think Yan is gonna try that, or even standing. I hope Israel doesn't look past Blachowicz, because he's got power, he's got heart. He's not Paul Acosta. He's not Paul. He's not going
For
to come
sure.
in.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
not
yeah.
going to come in there with the Paul Acosta mentality,
Oh
playing
yeah.
games. He doesn't.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Jan
yeah.
Blachowicz doesn't play games. He shows
But
up
at this-
and he puts on he's in a war when he's in
Oh, yeah.
an octagon. So
There's a
if
reason why Poland's capital is called Warsaw.
Exactly. Izzy better don't look past Jan Blachowicz.
Okay,
Otherwise,
I don't think he is, man.
he's gonna
Masood, I think you're right. Like Jan, like he's like, if he takes Easy down, like he might be able to finish the fight. But the problem is that you cannot catch Easy.
he's been taken
good
down
at-
before.
No, I know, but the thing with Easy is that he's always constantly
Yes.
moving. It's not easy to just grab Easy. You know what I mean? It's just, you cannot.
But you
do
also
that.
have to consider it's a new weight, and Yan is bigger in I would say,
Kinda.
like a volume sense,
Yeah.
where he's
Yes.
gonna be a heavier on top for sure.
But at
Yeah.
the same time,
If he
Izzy-
gets him down, he can keep him down.
yeah.
I think Yan has more chance. Well, you guys might not like this, but like, I think Yan has more chance in a stand-up. Like, even if I think Easy has more chances in a stand-up. I think, but if Yan connects,
Yeah.
it's done. Like, if he can just connect one good punch,
Yeah,
it's done. Because
possible.
one thing was, because it's one thing with Easy or whoever, I don't care. If you have not been, if you're not used to being in a specific situation, if you face that situation for the first time or second time, it's going to be really difficult for you. And if when you look at Easy, he's not been stunned that many times. So if he really gets hit, and with that power that Yan has, then this could be a problem.
But
It could be
they
a
also
problem.
said
Yeah,
that the power. They also said that about Paulo Costa. They also said that about Yoel. They
Paulo
also
Costa
said that
didn't
about
land.
Whitaker.
All
Well,
Acosta,
and
Didn't
he
land.
couldn't.
What
He had
happened?
he had a
What
short
happened?
reach.
None of them-
different.
Gastelum stunned Izzy.
Absolutely, and why? Because
And
I
he's
was
a
just gonna
middleweight.
say- yeah, I was just gonna say, if you're Yan, you're looking for that, grappling fight, like going for the takedowns, as Masood said. You're not gonna be winning against Izzy over striking match. Absolutely not. There's no chance. I mean, yeah, of course he had the Polish power, right? He's got the power, but
I
again,
think
they also said that
learn our
about
lesson.
everyone else that faced
and
Izzy,
he's got
right?
technique too. He
It's
has
just
good
that you can't
technique.
catch him.
One other thing about his game, those body kicks. He throws some nasty body kicks.
We saw that against Reyes.
Reyes, every
Yeah,
opponent
yeah.
I've seen, he throws some nasty body kicks. And he's overall, he's a great fighter. He has a mentality. He's tough, man. He's
Man,
tough.
those kicks that you mentioned,
gotta
I was
put him
actually
out.
I was actually excited to see him fight John Jones because of his style, the kicks and all that. And I'm just sad it never
I don't
happened.
see how people look past Blachowicz. It just
No,
blows my
no, don't
mind.
get me wrong. He's amazing. He's
Yeah.
great. He's a great fighter, but still, I think great is still a few
Merab.
levels below Izzy right now. And it's
Merab,
just I
one
say
thing-
that because let me just back myself up. I think the mentality that Izzy has right now is just something you don't see with a lot of fighters in the game.
Yeah,
All
one
right,
thing.
let's
One
not
thing with
analyze this
Hold on.
fight too much, though.
No,
Yeah,
but
go
I
we
ahead,
just
gotta
want
get
to say
into
a
it later.
point to Merab is that like his Yan is a little bit bigger than Acosta and other fighters that Easy
Yeah,
fought
it's a
before. So
different weight class.
so he might be
Izzy's
able
also
to
gonna be
catch him in a
bigger.
punch
Yeah.
because usually in other fights Easy could utilize his reach and that was an advantage for him. But right now it's a different class. Anyway, go ahead.
Also, let's not. Can I just add one more thing?
ahead, go
Let's
ahead,
not
go ahead.
forget Izzy is also has also fought in heavyweight before in
Oh yeah,
kickboxing.
yeah. He's
So
kickboxing.
he's
That's what I
pretty
was gonna
big
say.
too. But
Yeah.
it's definitely gonna be
His structure is for sure built for all those divisions, no problem.
He's
I'm
fought
just
in, like-
talking about a
And
little
he's
bit of
fought
in
in
terms
yeah,
of
he's fought in
density.
light heavyweight,
absolutely, yeah.
heavyweight.
Density
yeah.
wise, yeah.
Even John Jones has a similar frame to Izzy, but it's just
bulkier,
more bulky. Yeah, just has a bigger density, and I mean, hopefully we get to see him at the heavyweight this year.
Man,
And
he's
see what
looking
he's all
huge.
about.
He's looking huge. But we'll get into that later, I guess.
Yeah, so aside from that, obviously we have 3 title fights in UFC 259. We have Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson. Let's not talk about this because we know it's a landslide victory by Amanda. I really hope that they eliminate this division afterwards. So there's really no point in going further into this. Let's go straight into Peter Yan versus Aljo Sterling. We talked about this a little bit before. Obviously, now it's like fully official. I love this fight. I think it could go either way. It's very competitive. I'm backing Peter Yan to retain his title, but I think Aljo has a great chance of beating him. He's very athletic. I'm just questioning a little bit his durability and kind of heart mentality against this Russian bulldog, if you will.
I don't think that's gonna be a problem for him. He's been waiting for this chance for so long. I think he's just itching to get into that octagon, man. I don't think heart is gonna be a problem for him.
Merab, you predict with such a confidence. I think we have to learn from.
No, I'm just saying this guy has been waiting for this chance. You know, he's gonna give it 150%. You know.
Anyway, yeah.
All right, we'll get into that card. That fight in more details as well. Leon Edwards, Khamzat Chimaev got rescheduled again. Honestly, guys, I'm not sure if we're gonna get to see this one. So
It's a new Tony Khabib, I guess.
let's not waste too much time on it. And
It's
then
gonna be another pandemic,
Oh my
just
god!
to cancel this fight.
Yeah, zombies this time.
Yeah, man. You just I don't know what's gonna happen by then. So let's not get into it. And then the UFC pay-per-view after that, UFC 260, which was announced during the Conor fight on Saturday, is Stipe Miocic, the current heavyweight champion, versus Francis Ngannou for their second fight, which is their rematch. And the first fight, I don't know if y'all remember, but Stipe outclassed Ngannou pretty much
Back in 2018.
everywhere, really.
It's really the same results.
And interesting, because
Mystic
it's been a
Sam
long
speaks.
time.
Let's go.
Not after last
Mystic
week,
Sam.
but
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. And Ngannou has had a chance to develop his game further, increase his cardio further, take down some top contenders along the way. And I think he's in a much better position for this fight this time around. I think it was probably too early for him first time around.
yeah, I think it's well, maybe I said this wrong. I'm not saying it's gonna be exactly like that, but I think it's still Miocic. I don't know how
Miocic.
Miocic.
Get it
He's
right,
been-
man. He's a
he's
champion.
He's gonna win that fight. And again, it will go 5 rounds, but it might be a little bit challenging in some
Listen,
rounds.
heavyweight fights are the most difficult, I would say. I mean, in some cases, to
For sure.
predict. I mean, one connection and you're
it's
out.
over.
Lights
Especially
out.
these
Yeah.
two, right?
Yeah, lights
Especially
out.
these two.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Do you guys think it's time? It's time for Miocic to step aside, or you think this guy is still gonna?
I think Miocic. I give the edge to Miocic, to be honest. I give the edge still to Miocic. This guy is a monster, man. He's still kicking ass.
He's fantastic.
And
Yeah, he's not looking like slowing down. Absolutely not.
but,
But I mean, Francis.
He is getting up there in terms of age. So
Francis Ngannou's last performance was kind of disappointing. His team was disappointed in him. The way he, the way he just went, just throwing sledgehammers at Rosenstruck. He said himself, his team said he was prepared to have a technical bout with Rosenstruck, but that was just. If he's gonna go like that against Stipe, I don't know.
No, man, he's gotta
he better get lucky and connect something. Otherwise,
he's gotta do something about that conditioning.
Yeah,
but
I feel like if he can stop Stipe's takedowns, Stipe is gonna gas out just as much as Francis, and it's gonna be a little more even.
I just simply feel Stipe has more tools. That's it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys think Ngannou is going to be one of the greatest fighters never to have a title ever in his career?
Maybe in heavyweight, yeah. In heavyweight,
Especially
How
with
many
John
fighters
Jones
you have in
there now?
MMA?
I mean,
I think his career is headed down that trajectory. Because let's say after this fight, it's not going to get any easier. There's going to be John Jones in the mix,
yeah,
and he's going to get outshunned again.
yeah.
But I was just gonna ask Masood this. Since I know he's a huge Miocic fan. What do you think Ngannou's game plan is going to be this time that they're fighting?
I mean,
Is he again going to go for that explosive?
no, I think he's going to be more composed, definitely more composed, more composure. He's going to be ready for Stipe's takedowns. He is working hard as we speak. He's working on his takedown defense, and he's working on his grappling in case he gets taken down. But he's going to be more composed, and he's going to pick his shots. And when he connects, if he connects, he's going to put Stipe probably out, But he's definitely working on his stamina. He's working on his stamina, grappling, takedown defense, staying composed. Just technical.
But
stuff.
skill wise, I'm gonna say he's still levels below.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
All right.
So maybe he still has that explosive mindset in the back of his mind.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, that's actually his best chance of victory against Miocic is to tag him. If he wants to go to a technical fight and test his durability in 5 rounds, he will gas out again.
No, I don't mean durability. I mean he's gonna throw those bombs, but he's gonna be a little more patient. Maybe the second round he lands something instead of going all out in the first 30 seconds or minute.
Yeah,
he's gonna gauge it. He's gonna gauge. You have to gauge your opponent. You can't just. What he did against Rosenstruck, I mean, he got lucky. That was luck. You can't call it anything else. He's just going crazy. That was it. It was impressive. It's fun to watch, but that was, it's like a street fight. The white people fight on the street.
You can't go with
But I'm not saying he's gonna fight for 5 rounds, but he's gonna be more composed.
The co-main event to that card has also got announced on the Conor card as well, which is Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega for the featherweight championship, and only 2 losses between the pair of them in their careers. This is going to be an interesting matchup.
Someone's gonna lose the one. Not the old, but
considering how great Ortega looked in his last fight, do you think that Volkanovski's pragmatic style, his basically I don't know how to explain it, but like his technical nous, is it going to
His hand
be
is shown now. Yeah.
is enough? Oh no, his hand hasn't been
Oh.
shown in any way.
Well, I mean, I thought you talking about the calf kicks. You know, like the first, like look at the first
well, that's
Holloway
part of his
fight.
game plan,
Yeah.
yeah. But
But like even
overall,
Max,
how he
yeah.
fights in terms
That's
of
the
how he's
main part of
fantastic
his
in terms of
game.
Absolutely,
being a technical
for sure.
striker. I don't know. What do you guys think?
But what we saw from Ortega last time he fought, I don't know if that was the Korean Zombie not being
It was
himself, or
Yeah, it was Korean Zombie.
or Brian Ortega just absolutely improved his game. But the Brian Ortega we saw last time, it was, in my opinion, he can beat Volkanovski for sure. He just
Are
looked
Are you
way
sure
too
you're
sharp.
saying this because you don't like Volkanovski?
No,
Because
no, no.
It's funny.
I have
He won
nothing
against
against him,
Max
man. He's a
Holloway.
great fighter. No, I actually like Volkanovski. He's a great fighter. But I'm just saying, Brian Ortega, his last fight,
Yeah.
I was surprised to see him that improved and that
Yes, yeah. So when
He
you
looked-
guys say
he
that
looked
it was
good, man.
Korean Zombie not performing, I would have to disagree. I would think
Yeah, I'm
that
just saying, I don't know
Ortega
if
raised
yeah.
his game
Oh yeah,
in
for
this
sure.
very long
Absolutely.
layoff that he had. He wasn't,
sure.
you know.
So that's what I'm saying. He's gonna be a
Messing
problem
about.
for Volkanovski. He's gonna be a big problem.
He
for
will be
Volk-
a problem for Volkanovski, although I think Volkanovski is still going to prevail on points over him.
Maybe, yeah.
It's
if
possible.
it gets there. Yeah.
He is just such a durable fighter in that sense. I don't think Ortega would have the ability to get him out of there, and he'll lose on points.
I think it depends how I look at it. If I was Brian Ortega's coach, I would just develop a plan to get a hold of Volkanovski and submit him. That's it. I think that's,
Ortega's
I think Ortega
And
grappling.
you think
is
it's
really
very
good.
easy to get Volkanovski down? Man, look at
You
those
don't
tree
need to get
trunks.
If you just get him to the cage, then you can. I think if he get to clinch, if Ortega get to clinch, he can work his way into something.
Yeah,
some
you're
kind of
you're,
something.
you're assuming on the fact that Ortega is stronger than Volkanovski in the clinch, which is definitely not the case. Volkanovski will be stronger than Ortega in the clinch, on the ground, both.
You want to bet?
Well,
You want to bet money?
let's get closer and let's see if this fight actually
Your name-
happens
come on.
before
Your
betting.
name
You
is
want to
money.
bet?
Let's
Don't
bet
bet. Don't
something.
bet
Well,
against each other. Bet online so you can make some.
we'll bet the week of the fight. No
Yeah.
problem.
I'll send you some links. if you
It was
wanna bet.
funny. Volkanovski is actually shorter than Brian Ortega, but he has a higher reach.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
one of those fighters. Like,
Yeah, it's
he's,
like-
he's really good.
Listen, man, his style is absolutely unique and something
Yeah.
that needs to be unlocked. Max Holloway got super close and just got unlucky in a
Well,
situation.
he did it, but didn't give it to
He
him.
got super close, I reiterate. And but Ortega maybe can learn from that, learn from Holloway's loss to Volkanovski, and basically try to plan for it more in a more technical sense. Perhaps he could do it. We're gonna have to, I guess, wait and see. Another fight that was announced, it's not fully official yet, I think, but it's kind of in the works, is Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa.
Is that in the works?
I love this fight.
Oh yes, I think
Yes.
we all
Fight?
want to see
Have
that
they
fight.
announced it?
It's not announced officially. It's in the
Oh
works
my
on Twitter.
God.
hold on.
It sounds like it's going that
Okay.
direction though, because Izzy's leaving and they need to move on with the division in some sort of fashion. So yeah, it would make sense to go for a fight. But yeah, Robert Whittaker, Paulo Costa, this is gonna be
Now
an
that's the fight that everybody wants to
Oh
see.
my
amazing fight.
Paulo
I-
Costa said that after that Izzy fight, the rematch everybody wants to see. This is the fight everybody.
Yeah,
wants.
this is what everybody wants to see.
Sign contract.
100%. Okay, we're not gonna talk too much about this fight because obviously we're not. It's not even official yet, so we won't get too hyped up it. But let's just get into one question: if Robert Whittaker dispatches Paulo Costa, just like he's done every other top contender, what do you do with this guy, man?
See, that's titles. He deserves. He's next for title shot. He already deserves a title shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But does he have a chance against Izzy?
It doesn't matter. He deserves a shot. He wants
I
a
think- I
shot.
think you
He
know
and
my
deserves a
answer.
shot.
rematch. He deserves a
deserves it.
rematch for sure.
I
He
think you
deserves
know
a
my
rematch.
answer.
Yeah.
He deserves a rematch,
He
and
deserves a rematch.
I think he'll perform better in the second
Yeah.
bout.
But I think he's gonna
Win or lose, he's gonna perform way better.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
well, but I can't wait for this one. This one, it's not official, but hopefully it'll be announced.
Whitaker is one of those
soon.
fighters that grows. He grows and he gets better. Some fighters don't grow.
Yeah,
fighter.
100%.
Some
Yeah.
fighters
Grow
are.
up a lot.
Let's see if Paulo Costa has grown since his last fight, and it is not gonna be easy against Robert Whitaker.
I think Paulo Costa will knock him out.
I'm willing to bet on that for sure. That will never happen.
No, I never say never, especially in a
okay,
fight. You
yeah,
know,
sorry,
especially
yeah.
after what
I'll-
we saw
I'll
on
never say
Saturday.
never.
You know,
Yeah.
Money,
I'll never
last
say
week you said Connor's
That's-
gonna win the first round, and
Well, you said second round, so you're not
yeah,
so
you said
far
second
off.
round, so he lost in the second round.
But-
That's why we refined
And
the first half an hour
is
of the show.
90% of people on Twitter as well.
Yeah, we had a poll going
we had
on,
a
right?
poll going on, and everybody back on it right before the fight. So
92%.
that was a shocker. But I can never see Paulo Costa being able to technically outstrike Robert Whitaker. I will never see that happen. It will be because if Robert Whitaker doesn't perform up to his usual standard, perhaps, or gets unlucky somehow.
I mean,
but,
Costa might catch him, but
yeah, lucky strikes,
I don't
perhaps.
know.
But
Whitaker
in a
looked too
technical
good in his
stand-up,
last fight.
absolutely not. No way.
Okay, maybe.
That's what everybody said that before his fight against Cannonier. He's
Yeah.
gonna blow his head off.
Yeah, and then he went and destroyed Cannonier. 3 rounds.
Yeah, that fight was
People
really.
will continuously underestimate Whitaker, and I will continuously support him because
Yeah,
he is a top-notch fighter.
Absolutely.
All
Amazing
right,
fight.
guys, we have
Another
gone
fight that was-
super
yeah.
over limit for this show.
Good
What's
talk,
the
Sil.
last shout out you want to give? I really hope it's
Oh,
not
I was
Ricky
just gonna
Simone.
say no. Just another fight that was announced. Cyril Gahn versus
right.
Rosenstrike.
Yes,
Gonna be a
that
good
one's
fight to
also
watch.
not an official one, I believe. It's one of those like in the works kind
In
of
the
things.
works. Yep.
But yeah, it makes total sense. That fight, Cyril
I think
Gahn,
on March 13th.
is on the rise now.
think.
So it's a good step up in competition. Rosenstrike is definitely a tough competition for him. So it's going to be a huge leap from Dos Santos. I mean, Dos Santos, yeah, sure, we had that whole controversy about the back of the ear thing, but he's going to have his hands full with Rosenstrike.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be a good fight.
This is
man.
another level.
That's a very good fight.
Yeah.
For both of them.
Absolutely. All right, guys. It's been fun. It's been a great hour and a half, most likely, that we've been here with you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I want to give a shout out to all of our fans and supporters who have been helping out throughout these weeks, following us on Twitter. Don't forget, send us your questions on Twitter. We will be showing them on the show as of next week.
Absolutely.
So,
join our conversations on Twitter.
Just whatever you want to talk about, see us talk about, or even get into the conversation, get on Twitter, follow us. The links are up. Don't forget to subscribe, like our video. That helps us out so much on YouTube. And if you're new, please don't forget to subscribe. So from all of us here at 4Fight Fans, we thank you and have a good evening until next week.
See you guys next week.
See you next week, guys.
See you
guys.
guys.